You ever roll up your own driveway, bone-tired and ready to just meld into your own bed, only to see something so wild, so sideways that you just freeze? Like, you literally forget to breathe for a second, and your brain's doing somersaults trying to process? That's where this story starts. Not a flat tire or a loose cow. No, I'm talking about the kind of gut-punch surprise that slams into you right at the end of a 400-mile drive. You round that last curve, sun low in the sky, expecting to see the battered old gate your granddad hung with his bare hands, the familiar sprawl of pasture stretching out, but instead, there's a whole damn village glimmering in the field. String lights everywhere, tiny wooden cabins popping up like mushrooms after rain, rocking chairs on porches facing east to catch the sunrise. 34 cabins, I counted later. Some with painted signs, all nestled on the land I grew up running across barefoot, the land I thought was still mine. And get this, my own cattle gate had a fancy wooden sign now, opening meadow cottages. Somebody had even put a wreath on the cattle guard, like this was a Hallmark movie and not the middle of a real, working farm. I just sat there in my truck for a minute, windows down, taking it in, cedar and new paint where I should have been smelling hay, cow manure, the sharp scent of grass and honest sweat. All the things that make a place yours. That's when he appeared, right on cue, as if someone had pressed play on a promo video. Out steps this guy with an overstyled haircut and the jawline of a toothpaste commercial. Clipboard in hand, welcome tint behind him, wearing the kind of smile you see on realtors' billboards. He struts over, pen twirling, not even looking me in the eye, just says, "Hey there, guest check-ins are in the courtyard." Like he's the sheriff and I'm lost. I stare back, dead flat. I'm not a guest. He doesn't miss a beat. "Are you here about the vacancy? We're booked out for the next 3 weekends, but you could try a weekday." Like I'm the one who doesn't belong. Meanwhile, a golf cart zips past, loaded with staff in matching polos, hauling charcoal and cases of wine. It was like stepping into some bizarro world brochure of my own life. I finally say it. "What the hell is all this?" And his smile just gets tighter. He points to a laminated map, all pastel greens, and labeled community spaces. "This is common area now, managed by the association," he says, like that means something to me. I glance at his map, my fence line erased, property scribbled over with meadow cottages. Community comments, board vision. He's proud. "You can't believe how fast this came together," he says, chirpy as a squirrel. Board's vision, very well received. I look closer, parcel IDs that don't match my deeds, legalese about abandonment. When I call him out, he grins. "Exactly. Under the abandonment clause, if you don't use your land for a year and we improve it for the common good, we get the interest." We sent notice. You didn't object, so we proceeded. And I just stand there, stunned. Yeah, I'd been gone. Not because I forgot this place. No way. But because I was sleeping in a hospital chair beside my mom, holding everything together after she got sick. I paid the taxes. I kept the insurance. The grass grew tall. Sure, nobody cut it. But that didn't mean it was up for grabs. Now here I am, a stranger on my own land, watching some couple with little kids get a cabin tour, being told to please douse the fire before bed. I tell Toothpaste Jaw to get off my land. He shrugs, calls it a civil matter, says I can take it up with the board. The board, by the way, lives in those stone front houses across the windbreak, triple garages, turf so green it looks radioactive. I call the sheriff. Years in this place teach you how to keep your voice steady, like you're reading from a script. Never let them hear you sweat. Dispatcher says a deputy will swing by, but it sounds civil. While I wait, I call Darla, my neighbor to the north, the one whose bees make honey so golden it's basically bottled sunshine. She shows up before law enforcement even gets there, her SUV trailing a storm of dog hair. "Thought you were throwing a party," she says, but one look at my face and hers falls. "You've got to be kidding me. They did this." Deputy rolls up, looks young, but has the walk of someone who's seen too much. I show him the old fence, tell him about the posts my granddad pounded, the wires Dad and I strung every spring. All he can do is take notes and repeat, civil matter. Mention permits. Those he can check. We head to the welcome tent. Clipboard man introduces himself now. Seth, board president, running for mayor of the lawn apparently. Deputy asks about permits. Seth whips out a form letter. Something about a meeting I never heard of, says it's certified. He lies. I'm at the post office every week. He starts tossing around words like overlay district and adverse possession like he's seasoning a steak. Deputy shrugs. Sir, I can't interpret property law. If you think it's trespass or unpermitted, file with the county. Talk to a lawyer. Darla squeezes my shoulder. I know a surveyor. He'll come after dinner. I go to my truck, dig out the battered old notebook my dad gave me, start writing everything down. Times, license plates, what Seth said, how his pen flicked like a cheap magic trick. The cabins glare back from my camera. Those string lights look like a row of teeth. That night, I crash at Darla's, her Labrador snoring at my feet. No sleep. By 3 a.m., I'm making coffee, scribbling a list. County clerk, permits, lawyer, surveyor. By the time the courthouse opens, I'm already waiting. Marty, the clerk, doesn't even say hi. Tell me it's not the cabins. I say it is. He pulls records, annexation notice, abandonment of beneficial use, recorded 4 weeks ago. There's a county letter, but the last name's wrong. Email typoed, like a knockoff. Marty prints the stack, passes it over with the gravity of a man handing you a lifeline. I ask about permits. Gwen in building is straight up, finds checkboxes marked owner consent. My signature, but cut and pasted. Gwen sucks her teeth. We see this sometimes. Developers shortcutting. Not okay. She flags it. Promises a compliance review, maybe even a stop-use order. Next up, survey time. Darla's guy, Bixes, the kind who can sniff out a corner pin in a blizzard, tapes the lines neon green. Cabin 5 is 5 feet over. Another, 8 feet deep into mine. He says, somebody thought you'd never show up. That stings. Childhood field. Now someone's glamping trip backdrop. I call a lawyer. Arlo sounds like he's been through these fights before. Breathe, he says. This isn't how it works. Covenants don't outrank title. Adverse possession in a year? That's not a thing. And forgery? Even better. Bad for you, but great for court. He tells me, paper is leverage. Just send me what you have. Next morning, I walk the field. Count every cabin, 34, not a one rightfully there. I find fresh PVC running from my barn's water line, electrical panel I installed now feeding someone else's fairy lights. Ever heard of unjust enrichment? My dad grumbled that about tools once, but this is another level. I want to kill the power, but the deputy's warning rings in my head. Don't do anything to look like the problem. 3 lawyers later, Arlo files an injunction, records a lease pendens, so anyone looking to buy sees the cloud on title. Then code enforcement rolls up. Lynn, red hair, no nonsense, posts a big orange cease and desist on the welcome tent and barn. Employees gather like someone's reading a surprise pop quiz. Even the guests start looking nervous. I catch one dad, baby monitor in hand. You're smack in the middle of a land fight. You might want a refund. He nods. I'll talk to my wife. Can't make this stuff up. Friday comes, court day. Arlo lays it out. Structures built, forged permits, utilities tapped. The association's lawyer goes on about common good, abandonment. The judge? Not having it. Covenants don't transfer title, and a year of non-use isn't forfeiture, he says, then signs the restraining order right there on the spot. By sunset, my field empties out like a carnival shutting down. Someone unplugs the lights. Fire pits go cold. All that noise gone. Then comes the kicker. The notary stamp on the annexation? Fake. The real notary walks into the clerk's office, green journal in hand, says she's never seen the papers. Consumer Protection opens a file. The booking site freezes payouts. Refunds pile up. Even the fire chief sends a letter. The cabins blocked a helicopter landing zone. Arlo files for damages, punitive, too. The judge calls it bad faith encroachment, threatens criminal charges for forgery, rules the cabins are mine. The association appeals, doesn't slow us down. Arlo levies. Sheriff schedules a public sale. Sale day rolls in, bright and weirdly festive. Cabins hauled off to parks, a church, a nonprofit for teachers. I keep 5, turn one into a farm stand, one into a bunkhouse for fire training, another for Darla's honey business. The new board, Seth is long gone by now, apologizes, pays my water bill, shreds their paper fictions. For months, I walk that field, thinking about what my dad said. Property lines are just stories folks agree to tell, and you keep them not just with paperwork, but by standing up when someone tries to write you out. Seth wrote his story with emails and string lights. I wrote mine with paper, a steady hand, and a law meant for exactly this kind of fight. When someone tries to take your life and calls it progress, you don't back down. You plant your boots, dig in, and raise your voice until even the quietest corner of the world hears you. So yeah, I legally sold 34 homes that were built on my own land. The field's mine again. Now, funny thing, there's a new sign at my gate. Just says, Private Farm Landing Zone. Do not obstruct. Quiet isn't consent. Paper is a voice. Title beats a newsletter. Survey beats a shrug. Judge beats a clipboard. And if you've ever been burned by an HOA, a neighbor, or anyone who thinks your silence means yes, you know exactly what I mean. So what about you? Where do you stand on this? Was justice done? Did the board cross the line? Or is progress always this messy? Drop your thoughts, your own stories about boundaries and battles in the comments. Let's talk about what's right, what's fair, and why it's never just about the land.